Hello there, and welcome to episode 104 of the Hayley Osborne Show. I'm very glad that you are here joining me today. And if you want to see the visual of this, I've been doing this for a little while, but I don't always say it. We're on YouTube. So the video of me here is on YouTube. It is not just an audio recording. If you prefer to consume content in video, if you are on YouTube all the time and that is your place, then you will find me over on YouTube at Hayley Osborne. Today, I wanted to talk to you about 5 clever strategies to making time for marketing mastery because over the last week, you would have seen that I opened the doors to my membership, Superhero Marketing, and now they are closed. And what I did do in that time is run a marketing makeover challenge. And what that meant was me showing up live for 3 days in a row, teaching an amazing bunch of business owners how to make over their marketing. And one of the things that I found that stood out the most for me was making time to actually master your marketing and making time to do that. And I think I'm in a pretty good place where I do find that I have time for my own marketing because it's catch 22, right? When you're sitting in the driver's seat where I am, this is what I do to help people to create activities around marketing to have big growth with the least amount of time and effort. And so when you're in the driver's seat like me, that means you're always helping other people, but how do you find time to make time to market your own business? So for me, marketing my business. Now you might think that it comes super easy to me. Yes, it does, because this is what I love to do. But I need to carve time out, make time to be able to market my own business and what it is that I actually do to be able to help you, to be able to reach more people, to make it easier for everyone to master their marketing. That's my chair squeaking, if you can hear that. I'm just trying to get a little bit more comfy because we're in here for a little lesson. So I want to make sure that I bring you all the goodness and that I'm comfy doing so because then I'm not thinking about me not being comfy. Anyway, so there's 5 things I wanted to talk about today that are clever ways that I found that helped me to be able to make time for my marketing mastery, because when it comes down to it, if you're not sharing who you are and what you do in your zone of genius with the world, how are they going to know? And so you need to make time. Now, if you don't know what it is that you are doing, that is what I'm here for, to help you, because it can be quite confusing. And to always have your finger on the pulse in this area would be crazy and ludicrous, because you're spending time working in your business, right? Serving your customers and clients and people that love you. You're not spending time with your finger on the pulse learning about marketing, which is what I'm here to teach you to do. But let's get into it. So I've come up with 5 ways that will help you, that are clever, that you might not have thought of, so that you can make time to market your business, because that's the first part, right? The second part is getting your marketing foundations right. The third part is making sure that your digital footprint and positioning are in complete alignment. And then the fourth part is optimizing all your content. So I talk about the 3 parts, which is a bit of a framework that I use inside of my business. But the bit before that, like the pre-work to that, is actually carving out the time to make for your marketing. Okay, so as we all know, though, time is the one currency that we're all really short on. And I have small children. I run the successful business. I look after my house. I do have help, but I still have to carve out the time. And so you're about to become really thrifty spenders and savvy savers in the world of marketing time management. Let's get started. All right. So the first one is prioritize with purpose. All right. So one thing that I have learned, and I learned this from a podcast actually, is there's a lot of talk about Monday hour one. And that doesn't mean like the first hour of your Monday, but it's Monday hour one is what it's called. And so if you can spend 1 hour on a Monday across your marketing planning, that will help you set up your week for success because you are doing it on a Monday. You don't have this little stone in your shoe of, oh, I should be working on a social media post or I should be working on this like North Star piece to achieve a higher goal. I should be doing this. No, like you've done it already at the start of the week. So you know what happens when you have a stone in your shoe, you keep walking, 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 and then it becomes really annoying and you have to stop and empty your shoe. Okay, so it's the same sort of analogy when it comes to making time for your marketing. It is to get it done in Monday hour one. So that could be 10 to 11, 11 to any time on a Monday. Get it done then and prioritize with a purpose, right? So we've all got a towering to-do list, as much as I like to call it an action plan. It's there, but how do you decide which part or point on that list gets your attention first? It's that Monday hour one. Okay, so that ticks that off and you don't feel like that angst and that urge that you know you should be doing it, but you don't have time because there's other priorities. And then another thing to be able to prioritize with purpose, and something that I do and I teach my private clients as well, is to get really clever at color coding your calendar, because then you can see and move things around and morph things into how they should fit into your world. So I've got all sorts of color codes from personal to private clients to social media strategy to superhero marketing. And I love seeing the personal because that's in yellow and I get excited. I'm like, oh, there's something personal happening. What's going on? Or, oh, I'm seeing like this private coaching client. Or, oh, I get to spend time doing superhero marketing stuff. And the colors like trigger emotions that are good. And then I've got white space. So that's always a really nice feeling too. So if you can use those two little clever strategies to help you make time for marketing mastery, I think that will help you a long way to be able to prioritize with a bit more purpose. The second point I want to talk about is streamline with systems. So streamlining your tasks by setting up really efficient systems is definitely the way to go. And by that, you can automate things like batching content, scheduling content. It all like saves you time. And we all have the different tools and things that we use. And if you don't currently have any, hit me up on Instagram, ask me what I use. This isn't a podcast episode about that. I think I've done one on that. But Streamline with systems is a really great way to be able to make time for your marketing mastery, because it is a master, right? Because when you do market your business, you are essentially increasing your bottom line because you are creating more brand awareness around what it is that you do, which creates more noise, which creates more activity and action, and therefore more revenue. But in another episode, I'll give you the tools that I use for my own marketing process. But one thing around streamlining systems that I wanted to specifically talk about was everything is content. Okay. So when you're out and about doing what you do, make sure that you always have in the back of your mind, everything is content. So take little videos, take a few photos, take some B-roll, which is background content, background video, and just have it in your phone. Don't activate on it there and then. Save it in your phone. I have particular folders set up in my phone for things like sport, things like masterclasses, things like podcast episodes, family stuff. So there's different folders in my phone. Superhero marketing. So that I can draw on those folders to be able to find everything I need, that everything is content. B-roll, you name it. I have folders set up for all of these things so that when I want to access them, the content is already there. So when I'm out and about in my day, everything is content. I'm gathering content for the future me, right? You're future proofing yourself. And so in that moment, you might be feeling really creative. However, you don't have the time to pull it all together. So take the everything is content mentality, batch it all, and just put your phone away. Take it out again, take a little video of this, a little video of that, whatever it is that you're doing, and save it. And then, throughout the week, keep a little running notes tab or the voice recorder. So I use a app called Voxer, and that is something that I use between my private clients and I, but I also send voice messages to myself. And so that is something I do in terms of batching when I'm feeling creative. Oh, this would be a really good idea for this, or this would be a great segue for that. And I record myself because I can obviously read faster than I can type. So it is good to have a notes section in your phone that you can refer to if you prefer to write, or some voice messages to yourself that will help you to jog your memory of that moment in time that you felt very inspired by something. So then when you do have your Monday 1 hour, the streamlining with systems to come up with like the clever marketing mastery is there. So you have your batched content from through the week in terms of video, aesthetic, imagery, and that kind of thing. You have the little voice notes to yourself of inspiration or your written notes of inspiration. And now on that Monday 1 hour, you have everything you need to pull together mastery through your marketing. And so that is a really clever way to systemize this process. So you don't feel like you are always on that content bandwagon or you are always panic posting because you have nothing to post. It's something that I've done for a while now and it just works. And then I use tools like InShot. And I said I wasn't going to talk about it, but it's organically happening. So here we are. That's really good. I use tools like InShot to load my videos in different videos, and then I put words around it. I collate them together or separate. I'd have 4 or 5 videos done, just waiting in there parked as a draft, ready to go out on my social media. And then I just write the copy around them and my social media is done for the week. And it feels really good. So there we are. That's number 2. The third point I want to talk about is delegate and elevate. So this is the third part of our little time traveling quest for finding ways to make time for your marketing mastery. The power of delegation is huge, and it is actually something that I have found very hard to pass off and delegate to team members. But it's not about just handing off work, right? It's about being able to empower others and open up. Sorry. Okay, sorry about that. I think I'm just going to press pause. Okay. So it is about opening up your schedule to be able to empower others to create high level strategies and room for creativity. So it is a bit of a difficult task or fear, you might say, for letting go. But I think there's really powerful lessons learned here in your own mindset. So for me, and self-development. So it's been huge, but to delegate your tasks, to elevate your business, to allow you room for creativity and a higher level of thinking in terms of strategy is one of the best ways to be able to make time for marketing mastery. So whether that is with a team member, whether that is with a virtual assistant, which is my saving grace, or whether that is other tasks. Okay. So saying to someone in your house, okay, you're going to need to do the washing right now because I've got to do this. Or how about we get a cleaner? Or how about we order our shopping online to save time right? So it's thinking about certain ways that you can delegate tasks to be able to elevate your business. And there's lots of different ways to do this. I have so many, and I think I also have a podcast episode on that too, and how I do everything in my day. So I think that is episode, let me just have a little look, 95. So if you go back and have a look at that, I think there's a lot of nuggets in there that you'll love. The fourth point, strategy, clever strategy that I wanted to talk to help you make time for marketing mastery is the power of the word no. Now, it's easier said than done. I get it. I totally get it. But setting boundaries around your time and learning how to decline requests to be able to spend time where you need to, that moves the needle, is massive. So the power of no is huge. Now, there's a bit of FOMO that comes into that, so fear of missing out, but the bigger picture is far more beautiful. So it is okay to decline requests. It is okay to set boundaries for yourself. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, especially if you know that you have something to do, or say no around little things. That way it does free up your time to get your marketing mastery done. And then you have that time to be able to go and do all of the other extracurricular activity things that you love to do. But the power of no is important, especially if you have a full-on day. And I think one thing that I've learned too is to allocate certain days for certain things. So there are certain days of the week that I have no clients, and they're my mum days. So they're the days I spend with my kids, and I love that so much. And there are days where I have full work days, and then there are days or afternoons, for example, for a couple of days a week, are the days I see my clients. And then there are times I have set aside for superhero marketing and so on and so forth. So having like structured times around your boundaries and what you do in that time really will help you to say no, because you really outline what it is that you need to be doing and spending time doing to be able to achieve what you want within the week. And sorting this out first is a really good way of doing that. So I tend to look at my calendar the week of and rearrange things that don't need to be there if they don't, and then put things in that do, and then block out time that I need just for myself. The fifth point I want to say that is a super clever strategy to make time for marketing mastery is a self-care. So is a self-care strategy, is self-care. So it might sound perhaps counterintuitive, but self-care as a strategic move is really important. Odd, but stepping back to recharge can really improve your efficiency. Stepping back to sleep can improve your efficiency, as well as spark massive amounts of creativity. So adding that in your calendar when you have self-care, like it will ignite ideas in your mind like you have never witnessed before. Stepping away from your desk, for example, for half a day or the whole day, if you can, taking yourself out for lunch or going to get a massage or whatever self-care looks like for you, a walk on the beach, grabbing a coffee at a cafe, you will be surprised the creative ideas that come into your head. So rest is definitely a requirement. And it's how the most successful business people, entrepreneurs, small businesses make it, because they have incorporated this into their routine and they're not pushing themselves to the ground. So it's something that I'm very, very proud of. It's taken me such a long time to be able to get to this point, but I am proud of it. And I do have self-care in my routine. And I have been doing it for a few years. And I think once you do add that into your clever strategies, it really makes such a big difference to how you run your week, how you run your month, and the crazy ideas that you will come up with while you are practicing self-care. So, oh my God, my best ideas come from when I'm exercising or walking or just spending time in the sun. Self-care to me is taking my kids to the playground as well. So, like, there's all sorts of self-care that you can do. Massage is also at the top of my list, and that really helps to spark creativity like nothing ever. And then that's when you get your phone out, you take videos, you take photos, you do what you need to do, you park it, you forget about it. Or if you've got audio to record, you've got this crazy idea, you just quickly send yourself a voice note. There is nothing quite like that. It is so nice to then, when you have time to sit down, which is something that I spoke about in point 2, streamline with systems. When you have time to sit down, you're like going to blow your own mind with what it is that you recorded at that time. And you're going to say to yourself, wow, I sounded good. And I had a conversation with someone this morning that was listening to a podcast interview actually that they had been on, and the host used what they said as a quote, but quoted them below. And when she read it, she was like, that sounds really good. And then she clicked on it. She was like, oh, that's because I said that. And so, that's where it comes. That's where the inspiration comes from when you take those notes. So you'll be quite surprised when you play back the recording of yourself. Anyway, guys, that is all I have for you today were my 5 points on clever strategies to make time for marketing mastery. I hope that you've enjoyed this episode. I am going to go and have some lunch now and take care of my stomach. And I will see you next week for another episode of the Hayley Osborne Show.